What's going on, guys? So today is the most stressful T.A.R.O video that I've had to do in a while, and it's because it's going to be the Moon Studios Moonshine, their version of G1 Shoki. Yes, the name is Shoki. And this thing has an incredibly complicated transformation, and it's going to be very hard for me to do, not for the least of the reasons that the other train bots are down around my feet at the moment. This is going to be a long one. I'm going to apologize in advance. So I'm going to go ahead and correct these things as it goes. Now, I have dreaded this for months now. I've literally just been sitting on this guy. First and foremost, you want to start down at the feet. I'm going to go by the instructions as close as I can, not do it the way I did earlier today, where I was just trying to remember how to do it. And I screwed up thoroughly. So you want to make sure you got the feet pulled down. Grab the whole side here, and that will flip up and out. Yay, yay. Now the foot itself here is on a double hinge. You want to swing it down and in, and this one on mine is not clearance toward the dam, and you can see it actually is rubbing right here. Like, it's almost like it doesn't tuck away 100%. You can see it doesn't line up to the outside. I believe it's meant to. So, not so sure as to what's going on there. But bring that all the way up and down. That'll form the back of the train. And we're going to go ahead and flip out half of the door. Now on our loosey-goosey foot, we're going to do the same thing. Pull that out. Rock this down. And you see it's a little bit better on this side. And open the door, so to speak. And close that up. Now this one doesn't fit as nicely. It's like it doesn't really squish into place very good. But I guess it is what it is. Now with the legs, I don't know how to describe this. Let's see here. So if you want to come to the back, you can straighten out the blue panel. Grab the silver panel here and kind of lift the wheel section up and out of the way, and this will come untabbed and then suddenly jolt. From what I can tell, I believe this post right here is doing most of the tabbing. It's got a little bit here that goes into this side, but it's this post that's going into that hole that's doing most of the work. Now, once you've got it here, you can see, of course, you have the combiner port. Whoop-de-doo, right? What am I looking at here? Where's the part I need to move? Okay, right here. So you come into here, and if you don't have a spudger, you can get it with a hand. So you flip this little piece up, and it's going to tab in right there. That's going to lock all of that very nicely into place, and then we can kind of shut the leg as it goes, like so. And you just leave the wheels all willy-nilly. Come to the other side. Once again, we can flip out the blue part. Kind of lift up on the wheels. It's not really doing much there, but it's just for whatever. Once again, you're going to lift up, and it's going to pop. It's like if they had like a slight groove here to like make that a little easier, it'd be great. Okay, got a nice little post there. So you can once again come inside here. This one is always a little bit more difficult for me. It's a little too smooth. So let's see here. Let's try with a spudger first. Kind of go in the hole. No. Nope. Okay. So for me, I'm going to grab a knife, because I can actually... There we go. So what I'm probably going to do in the future is just make myself a little ridge to get a fingernail in. It's not tight. It's just too smooth to grip to flip up, if that makes sense. So once again, you want your combiner port facing this way. That is, of course, where your arms are going to go in the future. The combine mode arms. Okay, so once again, we got tabs and whatnot that have to line up. And you can squish all that in, all nice and neat. And then with the butt skirts, just kind of set them off to the side. They're not really going to play with anything right now, so we've got all this. Now we come up to the torso and the shoulders. we can flip up the top of the shoulder piece there, and we can open up the arm by pulling the side piece open, and then do the same thing with the blue. Flip this up, and then if you look at it from the outside, you're filling out the side of the train with even the silver part. I didn't prep the hands ahead of time like I normally do, so go ahead and get your hands squared away and just fold them inward like so. Make sure your elbow is pretty much straight, and then you're going to double hinge it up and in like so. And then you can take these pieces and extend them all the way up like that. We'll do the same thing over here. So let's prep our hand just to get it done. Get our fingers lined back up. Silver piece, not really, it's tabbed in over here, so you don't really have to try too hard. Just be careful, and it will kind of double unfold, so just be wary of that. It's not just a single movement, it's actually two separate hinges. All right, so we fold the hand in, which doesn't tab into anything, which I find very annoying. And then we can swing the arm up like so. And then we will straighten this out, essentially like that. And I forgot to flip up the shoulder flap, so there's that. So something you probably could have done ahead of time was to unplug the backpack. Just 2 tabs, just sort of get it up and out of the way. And then grab the combiner head. You can just pull this essentially straight out. It's a little tight, but you can see here there's a hole at the top of the head. It's supposed to plug into that post right there, but this does not want to sit in the right spot. So let's see if we can fight this a little bit. It looks like it's moved out, and it's not supposed to have. So this is supposed to sit flush inside like that, and it still won't. You see it's still protruding there. That's not supposed to. That's supposed to sit flat, and it doesn't want to. And yeah, like I said, that is meant to plug into there. So that is meant to plug into this to help secure it all in place whenever it's good to go. And it's being a pain in the butt. So next thing we can do, come here to the head, unplug it, and then as you pull all this forward, make sure you flip this flap or else it doesn't want to come out. Now it'll untab from the side of the chest here and here, but then you also need to unplug the sides of the torso right there, and you can just flip them up and in like so. And yeah, all the work you did with the arms is gonna just get wonky, but just let it do its thing. So you got to pull this section out with the wheels like so. Get the whole thing you do with the head, and then spin it 180 like so, and then just keep it down and out of the way. Although this now gives us a good opportunity to see if we can't shove this in the rest of the way. Doesn't look like it wants to. Either way. Okay, so now what we have to do is the more complicated part that I absolutely hate. So we're going to swing the arms up, keep the nose cone out of the way as best you can, and how do I describe this? So these parts want to go like this. So the vent stack thing will be pointed outward like this, essentially. So if you prep the whole arm and double hinge it up like so, make sure the backpack's out of the way, and you can kind of just bring all this up. The butt skirts are in the way. See, the problem isn't that there's so much in the way. It's like Batman. Something's always in the way. Okay. And then this area here needs to be tweaked just past that, enough to clearance all of this. And you want this essentially to be straight up and down like that, forming the front part of the train, which seems pretty obvious, yeah? So let's do this again over here. So let's bring all of this up like so, and then we're going to bring this up as well, and in like that. Tuck it inside. Make sure the hand clearances everybody. And then with these facing this way, you're kind of lined up for where you need to go. And I think this is a perfectly good time to... is this where we play with the nose cone? I need to double check. I think here's where we need to mess with the head. So let me check right quick. This is difficult, so I don't want to screw it up. I'm going to make sure I can show you guys what we're doing. Okay, so we want to finish up the nose cone before we deal with the head. Alright, so the front of the train is going to become the priority here. So this is not going to be easy to show, I don't think, but I'll do the best of my ability. So the whole nose cone area here is on a double hinge, but you need to swing out this part. Obviously, you can see it needs to drop down, like so. Now this is where I'm going to show you something that I had to modify on mine, and it might be something you got to do on yours. This is something that is an insanely difficult issue. You can see right here, I have cut away a lot of this area. It mostly came up to a point and then had a very, like a low ledge area right there. And it would not transform properly. And I've seen a lot of people have this issue. And it comes down to the clearance between the front of the windshield area. You can see it's all scraped all to hell right there. The front of the windshield area and the gray piece that all of this rests on. You cannot clearance it. The factory one would not clearance. So I had to cut it free. I overkilled it. And if I had another one to do it again, I would definitely clean it up a lot better. Now that I know exactly what to remove. So the inner part here is on a double hinge that's connected to a translucent piece, because that's smart, right? And you want to get it down. And then the parts that were the arms need to come up and over, and you'll see they have the tabs there. You flip up the antenna while we're at it, because that'll get in the way. Okay, so this blue piece flips out from the nose. And then once again, we need to get this to come in on this double hinge. And you can see it also drags on this particular piece, which, by the way, mine comes apart now. Like this whole front nose cone bit will come off. And you can see here, as I fight to get it in place now, like that, you can see already that it's barely clearancing the part that is a problem. You can see here there's a tab. I actually completely removed the whole thing to allow that to clearance as well. So the part that is also the top of the shoulder has to get past here. So you have to fight it all. You have to fight every little piece. And now you can see it's sitting on top of this. So once again, another clearance problem. All of this was so poorly designed. I wish that Moon Studios would take it back and start over, because if you don't get everything in the right spot, you will never make that fit. Now, mind you, once I have it all together, you'll see what other issues I have involving just this piece. Okay, so I guess I need to push the blue part of the chest up in just for right now. Okay, so this part has to come out and around here for the tab. Same thing on this arm, out and around, tab in. And then we're going to go ahead and just connect this up and over the top of the roof. You need to get this one in first, because once it's in, you have that T-tab there to help lock it all together. So bring this one in. And once again, everything is in the way of everything else. So these side skirts are in the way of the front section. The front section is in the way of itself. The arms get in the way of the front of the nose. Not to mention, something I haven't even tackled, there's two holes there that have to plug in. Can't even show this. That have to plug in to there. like so, to get all this lined up as it is. And then even then, it's all still not sticking together proper until you get these up here. So you do have a hole that tabs in there. Got to get that clearanced around that first. Basically doing that number. So now this is basically holding this together. Got this separated here. Hey, baby. Sorry, I had to pause for a second. So once again, we want to pull this out, plug that in. You see right here, I'm having some issues with the shoulder, not wanting to clearance properly for some reason, but it's there. Now the head wants to tuck up inside there. And then with the wheels, you have holes there that will line up and tab into place to those D-shaped tabs from the shoulders. And then once again, just having everybody squeezed together is nearly impossible. So moving on, we have the head, which we have to now split in half. It's meant to do that, so don't panic. And then with the horns, I think you just want them back. And I think, let me double check which way you want those to face. You want these to face this way. So the yellow pods facing forward. Now this is a part where I screwed up both in my initial try to transform this guy, and then even today I did the exact same mistake. So what you ultimately have to do, which by the way, I'm going to come in here and unfold this just to get it up and out of my way. Although now I feel like that's probably going to be more in my way than now that I did that. So the head part now has to go up inside there, in here. Now only half of it does, mind you. This has to go in and past these little armatures, which actually, now that I did that, I feel like I need to undo this just to give myself some clearance. Clearance. All right, so get these as wide as you can. Mind you, my hips are still wonky. So utilizing all of these hinges, and I believe, yep, okay, so even utilize the damn, okay. So I think the way I did it earlier, hold on, let me see if I can do this again. Pull up on the skirt, because the skirt will do this. So that gets that up and out of your way. And then you can sort of tuck this back in. But you have to do it kind of at the same time, or else you'll never get these back in there. So that should go right up in there. And it's not just going right up in there, it's catching on things. Hold on, let me... See, this is the part I hate the most. I really do. This is the worst decision that they ever did. So this is one reason why you don't do all-in-one combiners. You know, it's... I think they need to learn that it's okay to not. Okay, so if you get that tucked in there, now you should have enough clearance to get this back into place. As long as it's not hanging up on every damn thing along the way. And there is a springy bit inside there that'll allow it to sit lower. So now we get these out of the way. Now we want to rotate the legs at the knees, not the hips. Rotate them at the knees. And the back of the head will go into this gap here. Son of a bitch. That's what I said, like every single thing wants to get in the way of every other thing. It's terrible, terrible engineering and design. Okay, rotate that around. Oh, this is not flipped out like it should be. Let me fix that real quick. I must have got jacked up in all the flipping and the flapping and the whatnots. Okay. So this will now sit down inside that gap. You can now bring the legs together to the best of your abilities. So of course, if your hips are not working the way they're supposed to, then that's going to make things difficult. Wait, what is going on here? The hip is pulled out of place. Look at this. Hold on. Look. Is it? What is going on here? That hip is way lower than the other one. Or is it just because... Oh, okay. So, once again, this is part of the engineering issues with this. So, look, the knees are kind of annoying. You can line up all your tabs, bring it all together, squeeze it all together, get this T-tab up and over, like that. Once again, the knees are bending, they shouldn't be. And to get this final part, you gotta get the T-tabs up and over each other, which causes problems in bot mode, which if you haven't watched the main review and seen the bot mode part of this, you'll see how this causes so many issues. So keep an eye on that. Now we're almost done. I'll go ahead and flip this part out, unlike what I said earlier. And you now get to have the journey of getting all the panels lined up. And as you can see, we're at a very wonky angle to begin with. So unlike most of its brethren, it's made to piece in specifically from the outside, whereas some of the other ones can go in and out, in and out. Where's my spudger? Because I just pushed the windows in by accident. So that's another thing you got to be wary of, is that these windows are not secured in any way, shape, or form. If you push on them, they go in. Now there's a lot of friction between these little tabs. Like, they will hold fairly well, so just make sure you get those good. Let's grab this here, flip out that there, and then go ahead and line up all our tabby tabs like so, like that, like that. And now we're down to the final phase here. In fact, it does look like I shoved that in really far, so you can actually kind of bring this back just a little bit so that it's secured underneath the roof. And you see tab, tab, slot, tab, slot, tab, tab, slot, slot, and so on and so forth. So you can just bring these together and cinch up the roof, essentially. And somebody's clearly not 100% lined up, but it's close. And then we grab our wheels underneath here, and they're stiff enough. I don't need to use those things. The front is fine, I guess. Still one to pop apart. Well, that's actually gone further than it needs to. So, and as you'll see, this doesn't want to hold together. And part of that's my fault because of the stuff that I removed. See, look there, I just popped it all apart. That is exactly what's not supposed to happen right there. I just fucked all that up. All that work for nothing. Because I just did that. So this part here just came unplugged from that spot there. Which now means I have to plug all this shit back in. And like I said, the clearance is terrible. Which means I also popped this loose down below. So if that's not in the right spot, then nobody's in the right spot. Okay, so that's holding that together. So there we go. There is my namesake trainsake in train mode finally. And just kill me now. Good God. Oh, I gotta turn this down because it's so shiny. The nose, especially because of the way I modified it, will never stay plugged together. It just doesn't want to. There's not enough pressure anywhere to hold that together. And you can even see that this part here that holds the wheels in place doesn't want to stay on either. So as it goes, I really wish I could get another one of these. If they do come up available again, I probably will buy another one just to hope for the best. You can also take this part, and I forget how to attach it. I'm gonna be honest with you. Does it just sit in there? It's got a couple tabs. Yeah, okay. So it just sits into these couple slots, I believe. Just that. There we go. And there he is. And it's completed, like flying train mode. Once again, nose is not going to stay together because it hates me. But that's okay. I'm not going to keep this in train mode. as it goes. So there we go, guys. Sorry, this is a long one. I knew it would be. Jeez. Like I say in the actual review, this is definitely the worst and the most complicated, like needlessly complicated, worst QC'd, worst clearances. And actually I do have breakage right here, which we'll cover more in the combined mode review. So stick around for that. And if you haven't seen the actual review, go watch that. And oh, by the way, of course, if you want to, you can connect the train thingy at the back there. I'll show that off later on. So I'll see you guys later. Remember, as always, to transform and roll out very carefully because you don't want to break your train.